and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week thus far. I know it's hump day and it's, we still got 2 days left, but still, I want you guys to enjoy yourselves. It's a beautiful spring day here in New Jersey. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying the weather wherever you are as well. So today's episode happens to be the first episode of May. And I want to talk to you guys about something that's important. And I don't think I talk about it enough. So I wanted to bring this episode to you because it's the key to everything that we do from a marketing perspective. And before I get to the topic at hand, I want to share a story with you that I stumbled upon in my journey of entrepreneurism. As many of you know who've listened to me for quite some time, I wasn't a natural at entrepreneurism. I was always the regular, employee mindset 9-to-5er. Well, not 9-to-5er, but I was a regular job guy, never thought about starting my own business. So when I got the entrepreneurial bug, I know I needed help. So I seeked a lot of gurus and mentors and all that stuff, a bunch of business owners, business owner coaches, I should say. And one of them that I ran into and I actually learned from is a program of a gentleman by the name of Dan Kennedy. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with him. May God rest his soul. As you know, he is no longer with us, unfortunately. But, I joined his program. This is back in 2009, maybe 2010. And I learned so much from him in terms of business structure and all that stuff. But one of the things that's key, and this is what we're talking about today, that I learned is this story I want to share with you. I went to see him at a live event, and you never actually, unless you were paying, upwards of $500,000 to be coached directly by Dan, you mostly was coached by his coaches. And the guy who I was assigned to had a live event at a place in Dallas, Texas, I believe, if I recall correctly. And I remember it was a room full of probably like 200 to 250 entrepreneurs who attended this event. And one of the things he said, one of the questions he asked, he says, "Okay, guys, I want you guys to shout out what businesses are you in?" And the crowd starts to, shout out, I'm in the, marketing business. I'm in the restaurant business. I'm in the toy business. I'm in the, bath and body oil business. All this kind of stuff. All kinds of people shouting out names. I even shout out digital marketing, So he says, all right. Thank you. That's enough. Thank you for participating. I'm here to tell you that you are all wrong. I remember the look on everybody's face because none of you are in that business. And when he said that, everyone's looking at each other like, is this guy crazy? He's on doors. How does he know what business I'm in? This guy's nuts. Then he goes, I'm going to tell you guys what business you're all in. You're all in the sales business. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about 8 ways to get more opportunities in your pipeline. And when I say opportunities, I'm talking about sales opportunities. How to get more sales opportunities. And the way you get more sales opportunities is through marketing. Good marketing, right? But I want to talk to you about target trigger events in your marketing. Okay. Target trigger events in your marketing to produce more sales opportunities and increase your pipeline. All right. So that's important. That's very, very important. And, we have to understand its importance. And that's why I was like, you know what? I haven't talked about odd strategy in quite some time. And this is something that I normally don't talk about on the show. I talk about it with my clients, of course. But I want to give you guys some inside look into what we do here at LBMS. All right. So after the year that we've had, seeing a much brighter economic forecast is ahead of us. I mean, I've seen some forecasts, and I want to share some of that. I want to share some of this forecast that I've seen with you. And based on, actually, this episode is basically created because of the forecast I've seen. And I said, okay, so we can do, and I've already gave you the number one strategy, which is target trigger events in your marketing. But we can actually do some of these 8 things. Okay, so number one, like I said, I gave it away already, is target trigger events in your marketing. So if in just about every sales process, there's, trigger events. Okay, that's going to drive prospects to consider your service. It's in every single business. I don't care if you're B2B. I don't care if you're B2C. In a B2B business, I think as an example, you would be probably opening a new location. Let's say, if you're B2C, let's say as an example, you could be like, if you have more conversions for people who just bought a new house, so if you can target trigger events, and this is easily done now, guys, with the tools. This is the greatest time to be in digital marketing because this information is on your fingertips. So let's go back. So let's go back to a B2B business, right? And then I'm going to talk you some B2C. Do you know there are ways to find out if a business actually opened up a new location? There are ways to do that on the internet. And there's also, and this data has always been readily available, whereas for B2C, in terms of when someone is just bought a new house, let's say if you are in that type of business of selling, like let's say if they have kids and you have a daycare center, let's say, and you want to, you want to sell your services. So, hey, I see that you bought a new house, your kids are around the corner. By the way, we have this right up the street. There's a daycare center, whatever. So you want to identify the trigger events and you want to drive the opportunities and target your marketing message channels, and using marketing message channels like where your people hang out. For B2B would probably be more in LinkedIn. But Facebook has some good B2B strategies as well. And B2C is definitely Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and those kind of things. But you can just target these triggered events is your number one way to bring in more people in your in your pipeline, right? It's one great way, one of the 8 ways. I didn't say I misspoke. It's not the number one way. It's a great way of doing it. Another great way of doing it is you want to follow up fast, a lot faster now. And the reason is that the stats really don't lie. And I'm going to share some stats with you on the show notes here. That's very important. And because they just don't lie. So we just aren't following up fast enough. Or as much as we should be following up. We're just not doing it anymore. So I want to check out I'm going to point you to some stats of 2 articles that I got this from. And it's one is a blog post from a CRM called Pipedrive. And then there's another one, it was a survey that was ran by Harvard Business Review. It's awesome. Now that Harvard Business Review, I don't want to steal its thunder, because I want you to read it. But one of the things that I found very, very interesting about this is that salespeople see 400% increase in lead response when contacting a lead within the first 5 minutes of them, maybe answering your ad or following you on SEO or whatever. 400% increase in lead response. That is phenomenal. And I just want to give you a little tidbit, but I want you to head on over to the head note. Once this episode's over, obviously, head on over to the show notes and check that out, because that's very, 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 very important and very intriguing. At least I found it fascinating. Anyway, I love data. I base everything on data. Before I move on to the next strategy, I'm going to point you to another article that I saw. It was a study that was out of the UK. So I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not talking just on US stuff. This is a study made out of the UK, and it found that only 2% of deals are concluded when the 2 parties meet for the first time. Okay? 80% of the sales or the deals, or however you want to say, take 5 follow-up calls to close. But over 50% of salespeople give up and just won't follow up on the call. That's incredible to me. So that's why if you want to increase your pipeline, okay, your sales opportunities, because remember the business that we're in. We're in the sales business, period. So if you want to increase your sales opportunities, follow up. I mean, I know people always hear about the fortune is in the follow-up, and people know this, but no one actually does it. Okay? It's mind-boggling to me. All right, number 3, I've beat that dead horse. Check out those 3 resources in the show notes, and you'll see exactly what I saw. And this is why I wanted to get this article. This article. I'm okay. I wanted to get this episode up because I'm like, this is something I need to share with my audience. This is phenomenal. Okay, now number 3, you want to automate as much as possible. I'm a huge automation person. So how do you follow up faster? All right. So if you're gonna do number 2, you got to think about how do you follow up faster. You work, put it this way: if you're thinking, well, you got to work harder, right? That's not the answer. The answer is automation. So just about everything in your sales process can be automated, guys. Okay. And the tools to do are available at any budget level. I don't care what budget level you are at. There are tools available for it. You want to make the investment to get set up properly so that you're not like relying on having more time in a day to do proper follow-up, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to do that. Use the tools that are at hand. One of the things that we do, and this is, you can consider this a shameless plug if you want to, but it's not. One of the things that we do is we customize automation processes for people. I mean, I know there are tools out there like Zapier that you can connect this tool to that tool, and that tool to that tool, and this tool to that tool. But if we understand your sales organization and how you connect to the CRM and how you close deals and everything, we've actually built automation systems for people, custom automations that customize to your business. And And, that's just something that you could consider, or just, there's a ton of tools out there that you can use to automate this sales process, because you want to automate as much as possible. So number 4 is you want to focus your efforts on right leads. This is very important, folks. So what are right leads? A lot of CRMs are going to indicate to you, this is a hot lead. And everybody has different criterias of what a hot lead is. And a lot of these tools, most of the tools though, are the same. They'll say a hot lead if someone is constantly opening up your message, let's say. That's one way of discerning if you're a hot lead or not. Another way of discerning if you're a hot lead or not, let's say if you have a dashboard of some sorts and they're checking some things out on that dashboard and they've seen it more than twice, that's a hot lead. So depending on the criteria, what you want to do to increase your sales opportunities is focus on those correct leads or right leads, the hot leads. Find out, wait, what's going on? I noticed that you've seen X copy, X product in the last 15 days. Want to know if I can answer any questions about it. Whatever that is. But this is a really, really simple way of increasing your sales opportunities. This is number 5 is don't be afraid to drop leads. This is another critical piece here, folks. To follow up on the previous point of what we talked about in terms of, not in terms of following up with the right leads. Not every lead deserve full attention. Okay, I know it's easier said than done for some of you that are listening to this, because you think everything is, you got to strike while the iron is hot, but not every lead deserves full attention. See, while every lead is probably potentially valuable, some are just not. Okay, and they're not valuable at the time because they're not looking to buy your service at that time. Maybe they're looking to buy your service in the near future. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're a divorce attorney and someone calls you about, a divorce, and you have, say, an intake form that says, hey, I am, I'm really thinking about it probably within the next 6 months to a year. That's not really someone that you want to have them in your pipeline and you want to, nurture the lead and everything. But if someone says, look, I got to get out of this marriage and, I can't stay another month here. What can I do? That's a hot lead. That's someone that you want to nurture. Now that's a no-brainer scenario, obviously, that I'm giving you, but I just want to draw the picture so you understand what I mean by, don't be afraid to drop leads. And I'm not saying dropping them. It's you want to nurture them, but in a different way. Okay. It may take time to drop them and move on. I get that. So here are some signs that it's time to drop a lead that you could follow. And this is something that I've collected over the years. Let's say you can't contact them. That's one sign that you may want to drop a lead. Let's say that they told you clearly that they are not interested. I would drop them. There's some people who are persistent on that. Let's say you keep talking to them, but they won't advance in the sales pipeline. Like let's say you have a sales pipeline in your CRM, and let's say they're stuck on position 4 or position 3 or whatever. They're just not moving along. You may want to consider dropping them. But don't be afraid to do it, because you just got to remember, you just got to move on sometimes. So if you have more leads in the pipeline, you want to focus on the other leads instead. That's why you want to fill that pipeline all the time. That way you don't think that you're starving for more leads, But if you don't have, that thing full, you want to focus your attention on getting more, or strategically getting more rather than chasing the ones that are not, a good fit, because chances are they're just not ready for you anyway. So the next one I wanted to talk to you about is proactively drive more referrals. This is another automation thing that you can do, but for the most part, small businesses like you and I, we tend to rely on word of mouth for more leads, which is, it's not bad, but passively expecting them to show up instead of having a process or an automation process, or even if it's a manual process, but you have to have a process to actively drive more of them is a mistake. If you don't have that, if you don't have that, it's a mistake. So your sales process should include a process specifically designed to drive more referrals. Okay. So depending on your business and your resources, you may even want to, offer an incentive to some of your referrals, a discount or a freebie, something like that. Or either way, you just want to make sure that every prospect and customer is asked for a referral, and you want to measure and you want to manage the process just like, any other thing in your whole business. Okay. Last but not least, you want to think that content is king. And I know I'm probably beating a dead horse. I say that all the time. Content is king. So to just understand that today's consumer is different, and they are always forming impressions, and they want to make decisions long before they're, active in the sales process. And you want to have a lot of content out there. You just want to. Now, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Seth Godin. Seth Godin. He's a marketing guru. He always says content is the only marketing that's left. Isn't that interesting? Content is the only marketing that's left. I love that saying. And yeah, content is very important. It's very, very important, because the more information you have out there, the more people can connect with you and say, oh, okay, this guy or this gal is someone who I want to do business with. This is a company that I want to do business with. Or what have you. Or they get me because every content piece that they push out, it is solid to what I have. And it's just important. So think about it. Prospect needs and create content to help them. You have to. I'm sorry. You want to think about your prospect's needs. Okay. That's what you want to think about. And then you want to create content to help them. And it could be a video, it could be an article, it could be a podcast like what I'm doing now. Okay? So for example, you want to consider buying guys for those on the top of the funnel. Okay? You want to give those people who are on the top of your funnel so much information that they after they talk to you, they already know that they want to go into you. So that's how you fill your pipeline, guys. That's how you fill your pipeline, period. And last but not least, you want to follow the numbers. You have to, you manage what you measure. That's something that I also learned from that program when I joined Dan Kennedy's program back in 09, 2010. Follow the numbers. You want to manage you always want to manage what you measure. Always. That's just what it is. You may be, and I know some of you are probably intimidated by following metrics and going through your pipe, your CRM and looking at all the metrics in there. But when you follow those numbers, I can guarantee you're going to see every single thing that I'm talking about in this episode. You're going to see it. It's going to be right in front of you, because you won't be able to miss it. And here's what I mean. When you start seeing that, I'm following up, and every time I follow up, this result happens. I'm not, I'm dropping these people because they're eating up too much of my time. You see that something else pops up in your opportunity. If you start automating stuff, I started automating and look, my sales has increased by, a whopping 15-20%. Those type of things is what keeps you in business. And after a year like we had last year, you want to have this in your arsenal. So that's all I have for you today in this episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to list those 8 again. Okay. Just so we got everything before I say goodbye. Target trigger events in your marketing. That's number 1. Very, very important. Wherever you can do that. And with today's tools available, it's easy to do. You want to follow up faster and more. Follow up faster and more. You want to automate as much as possible. You want to focus your efforts on the right leads. Okay. You don't want to be afraid of dropping leads. You want to proactively drive more referrals on an automated basis, of course. You got to remember that content is truly king. Push out tons of content, because the more content you have there, people will find you easier. And when they do find you, it's easier for them to do business with you. And last but not least, you want to follow the numbers. You want to manage what you measure. Very, very, very important, guys. I hope you guys got a lot out of this episode. If you did, and you think it's going to help someone, I would love it. I would consider it a personal favor if you were to forward it, because the only way I can grow this show is if you guys help me. So with that, I wish you guys nothing but the very best. I will see you guys next week with another episode. Take care and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.